Hi guys, I'm Natasha Tessier with Dwell Realty and Design. Welcome to my channel. Please hit the subscribe button below. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the 7 steps to moving to Texas. Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier. I'm the owner of Dwell Realty and Design. Welcome to my channel. This is anything and everything to do with the city of Houston. And today I got all fancy because I went to a listing appointment. I did a video of a really cool house that we're listing in spring, over 7,000 square feet, over an acre on a well. Anyway, with a huge backyard pool and all this stuff. So I wanted you guys to kind of go through the steps of moving here. I get a lot of questions on how do we make this happen? What do we do with the timing? All that good stuff. So today we're gonna go over that. And if we have changed the ways that we are reaching out, instead of email, text, phone, we couldn't keep up with everybody reaching out. So now we have a better system in place. Down below, you're going to see a form that you can fill out. It's a buyer form, and it'll ask a bunch of questions and then be sent over to us. And then that way we can go from there. You will still work with me primarily. However, if you are coming into town and just looking, we're going to talk through this, but I have showing assistants that help me with that. And then I've mentioned Megan before, my TC. So, okay, the first thing you want to do if you're moving to Texas is find an agent. So we have agents all over the nation. I obviously have my team here in Houston. There are 13 of us. We have people in Sugar Land, in Katy, in Humble, in the city of Houston. We have a new girl that just joined us down inside the Loop, and she does a lot of that type of real estate. And then down near Galveston, we have tons and tons of different agents because Houston's spread out. So, you know, I had somebody the other day reach out and say, oh, well, my agent from Beaumont is helping me buy in Conroe. And I was like, oh, that's strange. Like, I would never sell a house in Beaumont because I don't know Beaumont. I wouldn't be able to direct you. And they were putting an offer on an area that is heavily flooded. Everybody here knows that, and they didn't know it. So be careful, get an agent in the area. I would not sell houses to you down in Galveston because that's not my specialty. So I will refer you to an awesome agent down there that's going to be responsive and know the area. So find an agent. If you're looking in Austin, we have agents there. We have agents in Dallas, San Antonio, Bernie, Fredericksburg, literally all over this state, we have agents. So reach out to us and we will connect you with one of our agents. So find your agent, find somebody who is responsive. Look on, if it's Houston, look on the HAR app and see how many houses they've sold. You can click on their little map and it's gonna show you what they've sold. So if they've only sold one house or some none, I don't know that they would be, you know, my first choice. So find how many houses they've sold and then try to see how responsive they are. Now, I do tell my clients that, like, somebody texted me last night. Sometimes when I'm on my computer, I don't always see the text come through. Re-text it to me because usually within an hour or so I'm responding. So if I didn't respond, I didn't see it. And then see who you'd be working with. Are you gonna work with that agent? Are you gonna work with, you know, somebody else, or how does it work? A lot of people have teams and you don't work with the agent. Okay, so that's number 1 is find your agent. Number 2, you're gonna talk to a local lender. So a lot of people have lenders. I do not get any kickbacks or anything from my lenders, but work with somebody local. They know the appraisers. A lot of my out-of-state lenders have a harder time getting an appointment with the appraisers. Or if you have a lender that you love, compare them to a local lender. I always tell people, try to compare 2, because that'll help them to give you the best deal. So find a lender. I have several that I can send you, and they are very responsive and can kind of answer questions and figure out what the best step is. Okay, number 3 is have your agent set up a search. So what I usually do is, now you're gonna fill out the form below. I'm gonna start putting my Calendly link below, and then we can get on a phone call or a Zoom and talk. But in the meantime, in that form, I can go ahead and get you set up on a search. So, hey, Natasha, we're looking in Conroe, Montgomery, the Woodlands, 600 or less. You know, we want a 2-story with half an acre or whatever. So we can start setting you up on a search. Give us your email, and then we can always adjust that search. I have a lot of people that text me and say, hey, you know, we've decided we don't want the Woodlands, we want just Montgomery or whatever, and we can switch that up. So get set up on a search. And that search will automatically email you anytime that criteria lists a house, it'll automatically send you an email with that. And then if that's a house that you love, you can text your agent and say, oh my gosh, I totally love, this house at 123 Main Street. Can you please go check it out for me if you're at that point? Now, let's back up a little bit. Some people are just looking, and you're gonna plan a trip out here more than likely, some by sight unseen, but more than likely you're gonna plan a trip out here and you're gonna come look around and see if this is the area for you. This is a toughie because a lot of people want to get into, 20 houses while they're here. Well, it's okay to go see, 1 or 2 houses in an area that you think you love, but I try to tell my clients, it's not really fair to ask them to clean the house and get the kids out of the house and do all this stuff if you're not ready to buy. I feel like that's pretty unfair. So I always tell people, I have a guide I can send you. It talks about Cypress, the Woodlands, Magnolia, Tomball, Montgomery. Take that guide and take a day and drive around and figure out where it is you feel like is home, because until you have that place that you feel like, okay, yes, I see myself here, you don't need to see a house in Cypress and in Katy and, in Montgomery. I just had another client, she's actually an agent and a friend of mine, and she came out here and she just drove for 2 days. Oh my gosh, I went to Katy, wasn't for me. I went over here, didn't like it, love this. Narrow your focus. And you don't want to be on someone else's schedule when you're just driving around. You can stop for lunch when you're hungry. If you go into new construction, I can set all those up for you. I know all of them very well. And the builders pay me, or pay your agent. You don't owe them a dime. So you would still get all of our expertise. I used to be an interior designer. I help pick out everything in the house with you if you do new construction. But you have to tell the builder, hey, I have an agent. They do not change their price. If you do or don't have an agent, either the sales rep gets double commission or an agent gets part of the commission and the sales rep gets part of the commission. So the price doesn't change either way. They have it built into the price. So if you are looking at new construction, I highly recommend that you go to your agent, have them set up. That's what I'm doing this Friday. Coming in town, they only want new construction. I know all of them over at Perry and Highlands and all. I'm gonna set up appointments for them, let them look and see what they like. It's really important that you narrow your focus here because it's so big and there's so much to take in that you have to take a day or two and just start there and narrow it down. With that being said, then you can say, hey, Natasha, we only wanna focus on Montgomery and Conroe. We didn't like any other area. And then let's talk about the timeline of all this. So you have a house to sell in California, New York, Chicago, Washington, all the places. Okay, you have a house to sell. What I tell my clients right now, it's still a seller's market. So if you have a house to sell, list it, get it sold, and ask for a lease back. Tell your agent there, and I work with a lot of agents together to make sure the timeline works. So I know a lot of people in California, they work with me, and we make sure the sale and the purchase happen well and happen to coincide with each other. So tell your agent that you need to sell and have a lease back. If you have 30 or 45 days to lease back, that gives you time to make the purchase on this side. So in Texas, how it works is you do 1% of the sales price when you go under contract and earnest money, which is around $200. So let's say we buy a $500,000 house. You're going to say about $5,200 at the beginning within 3 days. All that's credited to you at closing, but the more important thing, the $200 is to hold the house during the option period. So during that option period, usually about 7 days, you have time to run inspections and negotiate. So it can overlap a little bit with your sale of your house there. But you don't want to sell your house there and immediately put a house under contract here, because that earnest money comes into play after that option period and it makes it more difficult to get it back if you don't have your house sold on that side. Does that make sense? So make sure that you get your house listed and then worry about maybe 2 weeks in, if it's closing in 30 days, maybe 2 weeks into that, start getting really serious about buying something, if that makes sense. And then the last thing is, either plan another trip back out to do a final offer, or a lot of my clients are having us go get video of a house. They already know the area, they've already planned their trip. They know, we want to be in Wood Forest, let's say. So they know this area, they know the neighborhood, they know the walking trails. Basically, we go get a video and then we put that house under contract while they're still away. Then they fly in, we do inspections, we make sure everything looks good, they love it. They go back, they don't need to be here to sign. Everything can be done digitally. And then when you're ready, I'll do the final walkthrough for you, and then you can close from anywhere. So you just have a mobile notary. The title pays for most title companies. Some will charge you, but to go to your place, and they will actually give you all the paperwork there and then FedEx it back. So that is a lot to take in, but I hope that helps with how to plan a trip here and how to actually move here. I would go through those steps, make sure you're pre-approved, make sure you find a good realtor, get pre-approved, plan that trip, do all those steps so that it makes it as smooth as possible. And then just make sure your realtor there is working with your realtor here to coincide a smooth transaction and protects you. I'm very big into protecting my clients. I don't want them to lose any money if something falls apart. So I always give them, this is the worst case scenario. And usually that's a wash. So that's kind of, everything falls apart. This is where we're at. Anyway, those are my steps to moving to Texas. I hope that helps. You're happy to text me, my cell's below, but the better way is to fill out the form and get on my calendar. And then that way we can really chat and spend time talking about, what it is you want. The other thing, if you want to get on a list immediately, just send me a text and say, hey, my name's Samantha Smith and I live in California and I'm looking in Woodlands and Montgomery and I need a house 500 or less, this age, this size. And then we can at least get the search started so you can watch the market. So anyway, I hope that helps. Reach out anytime if I can help. I hope you have a blessed day.